This is African Diaspora Channel's production in collaboration with Cross River Broadcasting Corporation. Welcome to Destination Cross River Policy and Investment Opportunity Podcast Show. My name is Gloria Edet. I am also called the Speaking Nightingale. Whether you're talking about the blue economy of aquaculture or you're talking about the green gold of cocoa and oil palm, it is important that we define the roadmap for high growth value chains of our agribusiness ecosystem here in Cross River State. And that is our focus for today. Our guest is a seasoned agribusiness leader, administrator, and he's also a private sector extension specialist. And he is the CEO and founder of Creative Empire, with operations in aquaculture, in crop production, nurseries, and farmer advisory services. He wears many caps. He is the national president of different associations. I'm not going to go through the long list because he is here himself and he'll be able to bail me out. Help me welcome on set today, Mr. Bassey Jacob. Sir, you're welcome to the show.
Thank you, Gloria. It's nice to have you again.
Same here, sir. Awesome. So we're talking about defining the roadmap for high growth value chains here in the agribusiness ecosystem of Cross River State. Let's begin with the cliche, or would I call it the statement that everyone makes about Cross River State. And that's the fact that Cross River State is blessed. We're blessed with natural resources. And so we want you to first spotlight to our audience, especially the diasporans, what we are blessed with. It's not enough for us to say we are blessed. It's like saying, okay, you're blessed. How are you blessed? So, sir, from your perspective as one who has been able to do quite a lot within this ecosystem, how blessed is Cross River State? What would you say are the natural resources that we have here in Cross River State?
All right. Before I go into that, I need to establish authority that has given me the right to make my comments. I'm the National President of Agricultural Private Extension Service Provider of Nigeria. I'm also the National President of Fish Breeders Association of Nigeria. The Secretary, Community of Practice, USID. The Deputy President, Tiger Nut Producer, Marketing and Processor Association of Nigeria, Secretary, Catfish Farm Association of Nigeria, and other different portfolios. So this gives me authority to judge and to comment on the potential and possibilities that lie dormant in Cross River State. The geographic map of Cross River State support a lot of agri products, which are verify that Cross River State is a blessed land. Cross River State produce 40% of cocoa in Nigeria. So our map positions us to be one of the high cocoa producing states. Cross River State land favor palm oil. Cross River State land favor plantain, favor potato, favor yam, maize. There are several products that our land favor, but in the national map, there are some high-profile products that is owned by Cross River State. For example, Cross River State is projected to earn 50 billion naira from rice production. Cross River State too is planning to increase its cocoa production by 154 metric tons. Now, this also supports other projects. For example, the Special Group Processing Zone, which is a project that is funded by African Development Bank, as it sits in 6 states. Cross River State is favored to be one of the states that owns Special Agro Processing Zone. And this was not political. This is because of the possibility that is in the fertile land of Cross River State. If you go to a community called Iwuru, a big Iwuru in Bassey, every Monday and Thursday, trucks of plantain are loaded out of Cross River State. In short, on Sunday, you observe that a lot of 911s are coming in to load plantain.
Yes.
And the plantain there is only from 3 or 4 communities.
Whoa.
Now, it might surprise you to note that crops like watermelon that we think are not thrive here are doing very well in our land. Most of the rice we eat and call Abakaliki rice are rice that are produced in Cross River State, but they are packaged outside.
They are processed in Abakaliki. Okay.
Yeah. So Cross River State land is well blessed. Is a home for agriculture. I know there are states that call themselves the basket food of the country, but
that's a food basket.
The food basket of the country. We are not just the food basket. We are the land that produces the food for Africa.
Oh, I get the point. So you can be the food basket, but we are the land that produces the food. I prefer the land that produces the food. Interesting. Wow. So that means you're saying to us, if there are people out there who want to invest in Cross River State, in fact, the time was actually 20 years ago. That's what it means. We should have started doing that, because I see large expanse of land. You know, when you're traveling and you're really wondering, why do we have these large expanse of land and we are not utilizing it? Not knowing that watermelon, which you just mentioned, we think is grown in the north, can do very well here in Cross River State. Interesting. All right, so we're talking about diasporans coming in to invest. Well, not coming in, but getting the attention to this massive assets that we have. And the truth of the matter is, I do not think that they lack the capital. The problem, I think, is trust deficit. And so they would want to be sure that there are institutional quadrilles that would ensure that their money is safe, right? So are you aware, or based on your position as national president of some of these associations, so you would have information that will inform them on what to do, on how to go about it. So are there institutional quadrilles that would serve as third party to ensure that their monies are safe?
All right. So talking about the diaspora, there are a lot of things we need to bring in place that can help secure investment from the diaspora. Now, the agriculture really fell, not because of the risk involved,
Okay.
but because of governance structure.
Okay.
Now, for example, one of the mentality that the diaspora had or have, which is unhealthy for investment, is social structure.
Okay.
Now, business is not supposed to be built around social structure. Rather, it should be built around investment structure. For example, social structure might be, I want to go into investment, I'm in UK, and then I'm calling on my brother or my sister to set up a farm for me. It doesn't work that way. Now, there should be a 3-layer trust. For example, one, you need to get a service of a consultant or an association that master the ecosystem of agriculture, which I would recommend the Association of Agriculture Private Extension Service Providers. Now, what would they help you to do? First, before you go into an investment, there should be a geographical verification. Now, instead of just an assurance that the land exists, what is the verification? What is the proof that the land exists? Now, association like the extension service provider will have an app that can help tell you the size of your land, tell you the number of crops to plant, verify that the land first is in existence. Now, after verification, there should be a mapping for the land. Now, disbursement should come in phases. You can't tell me a project is, let's say, $25,000 and then I release all. No. First, get to know the site. After site identification, the next thing that should enforce reimbursement of cash should be site clearing. Now, and everything must be reported. So there should be a report template that will ensure investment. Now, apart from the professional and the associational wing that can help you in your groundwork, there should be a governance structure. For example, there are several organizations that can help you with your structure. We have PIN Foundation, who are deeply involved in employing and training a private extension service providers, and they monitor what they are doing. They have partners with several organizations like the MasterCard. We also have an organization called African Growth Industrial Exchange. Now, what would they do? What are the products that is available from their end? First, they will help you with your verification. They will help you link you to markets. They will help you link you to processors, because production is not complete until it gets to the end user.
Exactly.
And I will point again and again that why the investment from the diaspora fell is the mix of emotion and business. Business is a war front. If you want to do business, you first business. Now, there are several ways to secure. For example, if I'm in the diaspora and I want to fund my family through a business, I can set up a business that my family is not involved in. Have a structure that allows that business run and ensure that that business is paying my family monthly. Now, I want you to know that if the diaspora put back 10 to 15% of their income back home, that the economy of this nation will be transformed. Why? Because the exchange rate will give them high return on investment. They will be able to handle major global issues like food shortage. And then they will also create employment. So starting up a business is not the issue, but what is the sustainability plan? So governance structure, which will involve the association that are involved in the business, the grassroots, which will involve organizational structure that can help you put your business in place, which also involve marketing, is what will help you to have good returns on investment. Because if harvest is not in your mind, then don't think of agri. And when we talk about harvest start from the very seed. It starts from what you are doing. A farmer sees harvest before he's planting. So if you are looking at return on investment, you need to look at your process. What process do I need to put in place? For example, there are questions you need to ask yourself. Now, who verify the farm? Who verify the money used? Who verify when things go wrong? If you get family involved, your uncle will call you. Oh, you are locking up your brother because he eats your money. If he doesn't eat your money, who else will do it? So if the diaspora sees opportunities, which is massive in agriculture, they need to follow the system and structure that will enforce return on investment, because this agri is the new goal.
I like the way you landed. Agri is the new gold. Indeed. Well, I agree that the real problem is governance structure, indeed. And with associations like yours and other bodies, I'm sure that they would find a safe space for themselves so they can key into this massive new oil, new gold that you have highlighted. Now, let's get into another aspect of our discussion today. We are trying to market what we have here. And so we don't want the diasporans to think that just send us money to help build a farm or something. We want to productize our agribusiness. as a sophisticated asset that is worth looking at, that is worth investing in. So what approaches do you think that we can adopt?
Now, getting the assets that is available in agriculture has a lot of structures and systems that must put in place for it to deliver this deliverable. For example, when structure and market is in place, you don't beg an investors. Investors see opportunity and rush into it. Now, when investor does not need emotion to invest, he need visibility. So you need to make your business visible. For example, Cross River State is blessed with cocoa. Cross River State is blessed with coffee. Currently, Cross River State has gotten about 30 million coffee seeds, which will position Cross River State to be in the world map of coffee production. So, first of all, the investor must be able to have a vision of what he wants. For example, I have a friend who is in UK who has about 30 to 70 hectares of land a year. I tried to encourage him to go into cocoa, go into palms. He said no, that the area of his interest is 3-month crops. So his desire is to plant maize, grow it in 3 months, harvest it, sell it to feed company, make his money. So the investor must first align the products that is available with his passion. What are you passionate about? If you are passionate about 3 crops and then you go into a short-term crop, you will fail. There are a lot of possibility, but we need to align the possibility with our passion. Now, the assets that is available in our land is calling for investment. The question will be, how do we position Cross River State to attract the diaspora to invest? I will give some highlights of what the state is doing. Now, the state is investment friendly. The policy of the government policy allowed for investment. So if you are in the diaspora and you are listening to me, this is the right place for you to invest. Like when we commissioned a project, when the Minister of Agriculture commissioned a project in Cross River State, I said that there is no sector of the economy that has the potential to employ like agriculture. Food shortage is a global issue, and agriculture is the only sector that can handle it. And there is no how you can give people food that you won't make money. For example, if you invest 5 million in 3 months crop and you have everything in place, there is possibility of you getting at least 100% on your investment. I keep saying that I won't waste my money in building estates. Yes, because if you put 7 to 10 million to build 2-bedroom flat, it will take you years, at least 10 years to get your return on investment. Now, but if you put that into agriculture, in a year, you make your money with profit. You can make 100% return on investment, provided you have the technical knowledge to do that. So instead of the diaspora investing in hotel, investing in housing, why not invest in agriculture? Ask yourself, is there a day that passes without food in your mouth? When you eat, someone is making money. Can't you be the person that is making money when people are eating? You can't escape food. So every time your belly is playing music, you know that money is entering someone else. So be the pocket that collect the money by investing in farm. The land is fertile. The government structure is good. All what we are waiting for is you to decide to bring your money and double it. A lot of young people see Yahoo as way of making money, but agriculture is the real Yahoo because it will give you more than what you put in.
Whoa, I am dazzled by what you're saying, revealing to us how lucrative the agribusiness sector is. And now you talked about the private sector extension model, where if someone in diaspora is interested in investing in agriculture, there should be a formula that you're following. You're not being sentimental. So there is a governance structure in place and there is a system also in place. So as a system driver yourself, you have mentioned to us that first things first is for us to look at the land, survey the land, know if the land actually exists. Beyond that, does this model also cover the other aspect where we get into farming itself, and then the person there does not necessarily need to come down, but can monitor what is going on in the farm? Does the model cover all of that, and in what way?
Okay. Our model cover everything in the agri space. For example, my company is coming up with a product that I call farm estates. And what we do in farm estate is we buy land from the community, and then we give it out to farmers who want to farm, either outright buying, if you want to buy outrightly, which I will recommend you buy outrightly. Now, currently we have up to 500 hectares ready for sale. If you want to go into leasing, you can lease, or if you want to rent, you can rent. Because my friend, His Royal Highness Ededebegitu, told me that you can't go into agriculture unless you have land. And you won't do agriculture on air. It must be here on land. And then if you are not a stakeholder, you don't have a voice. So that's settled land. After that, we have apps, which I've mentioned. Now there is an app called Farm Monitor, which we have partnership with the people that brought up the app. Now with Farm Monitor will help you monitor everything that happened in your farm, every process. So you can sit abroad and know everything that happened in your farm. Now there are coordinates that if you take a picture, if you take a coordinate in your farm, you can sit anywhere and know exactly what is going on day by day in your farm. So this helps you to secure your investment. Now, like I said earlier, that production is not complete until the product gets to the final consumer.
Yes.
So we have a lot of off-takers depending on your chosen area of agriculture that will buy off your products. And then, because until the money come back, investment is not complete. So there is a system and a structure that ensure that every investment in agriculture have return on investment.
All right, so you are the national president of Apex, am I correct, sir?
Yes.
Interesting. Do you think that the opportunities in the area of livestock feed, we know the current problem that a lot of farmers are facing in that regard. So do you think the opportunities there?
I didn't mention of a friend who preferred to go into maize farming because it's 3 months, you sell it to feed company, cash out, and go back to business. This is to reveal that there are a lot of opportunity in feed production. Now, Cross River State is filled with cluster of fish farmers, filled with cluster of poultry farmers. In livestock farming, like fish, like poultry, fish is now in blue economy. 70% of input goes to feed. So feed eats 70%. So imagine you are the one taking the 70% from the farmer. The farmer, in quotes, will be your slave. Because as long as they have their poultry, their birds, as long as they have their fish in the water, the fish must eat. So why not position yourself to be the person that will make the money? All what you need is locate a land, cultivate your mess. Surprisingly, people don't know that soya beans thrive very well in Cross River State.
Soya beans?
Yeah. My friend cultivated soya beans here in Calabar and it did so well. So every product you need for your feed manufacturing is here. For example, in feed production, 60% of inputs, 60% of costs go to protein source, which is feed meal. That's for production of fish feed, which is fish meal. We have fish here. So all what you need to do is go to the beach, negotiate with a fisherman, and they give you fish. You have your fish meal here. You have your mess. So you are ready for production. And what is the government position on this? Speaking from the voice of the Commissioner of Livestock, when he had a meeting with us, he said the major challenge of fish farmer is feed. We want to start, I would like a situation where the state can have its own feed meal. So it means that any private sector that is ready to set up this have government support. You won't need to go and export or import raw material. The raw material is here.
It's already here.
And how can you do that? If you want a synergy, all what you need to do is bring money, get extension agent to get you farmers, or set up your own farm your mess, and then instead of being a slave to the to manufacturing company, instead of being their raw material factory, you become your raw material factory. You plant your soya beans, you plant your maize, and then use it to produce feed. Make 10 or 50 times your money, and then enjoy your money. Instead of putting your money in saving in dollars, bring that dollar back home and let that dollar produce itself in 100-fold for you. That's how to be smart.
Now, so from the profile of your dossier, we see that you have worked with, or you work with, coffee and tiger nuts. Now, do you think that these are undervalued assets that the diaspora can also invest in for high margin returns?
Yes, I will say that tiger nuts and coffee are undervalued. This morning, I woke up with a video from Plateau State. The Plateau State Commissioner of Agriculture he was working with the USAID before he became the commissioner. Why? I was the secretary of Committee of Practice for USAID Cross River State. So I saw a picture of their coffee farm from seedlings to planting, from planting to processing, from processing to roasting, and then marketing. And then that video said that apart from crude oil, there is no other commodity that pays like coffee. Yeah, we know that cocoa is the queen of the crop, but go and make your research and let's see what coffee have. Now, that's for coffee. There are a lot of potential, a lot of possibility that is lying on tap from the coffee bean. Now, because of processing, a lot of farmers years back didn't have the best return on coffee, but there are models that you can follow that can give you a lot of advantage. For example, you don't want to go into farming. You don't want the earth to dirty your hand. Why not go into processing? Why not go into marketing? Let's talk about tiger nut. Are you aware that there is a tiger nut oil?
Tiger nut oil.
Are you aware that the cosmetics industry are seriously canvassing for tiger nut oil because it's one of the best oil for the cosmetic industry?
Interesting.
Are you aware that there is a tiger nut flour?
I know that one, yes.
So, are you aware that we can use tiger nut to produce feed? These are all possibilities that beyond the tiger nut we drink. Now, the fiber from tiger nut is used to feed black soldier fly that produce larvae. Now, the black soldier larva is a replacement to feed meal. It has about 45% crude protein. It's a complete, is very rich in protein that can be used to feed poultry, that is birds, can be used to feed fish, can be used to feed pig. So there are a lot of possibilities. All what we need to do is to open our mind. There is innovation coming in every day. Every day. Now, the EU markets and the international markets are looking for our tiger nut juice. Even locally, the smallest quality tiger nut you can get now, you can't get it less than 2,000.
Yes, I agree. It's 2,000 a bottle.
So why can't you go into the production? We are currently speaking with Research Institute to get quality seed for tiger production and then trade an investment to give us processing equipment to process, because as an association, we don't want to be a raw material factory.
Okay.
We want to get the whole value that is in the value chain. We want a situation where we can plant, we can process, so that if you are in the South and you think that the South cannot support tiger nut, which I don't know why, you can go into processing. You can supply the oil to cosmetic industry. Even if you want to center in the juice alone, there is a lot of resources there that you can tap from. So it's undervalued assets that we need to pay good attention to it so that we can harvest the possibility that are lying dormant. If not, it will pass this generation. The next generation will come, discover it and tap it. And I don't want you to miss the opportunity. Key into it. Make the decision now.
Thank you very much for that call to action. Indeed, as we wrap up our discussion today, we have been able to define the roadmap for high growth value chains here in agribusiness from all that you have highlighted to us. Let's turn the table. If you were living in the diaspora and you had, let's say, $25,000, that's the amount that you mentioned earlier, and you want to invest it in a sector that will yield in about 18 months, truthfully speaking, which would you go for?
All right. Personally, as a farmer, I don't like cassava personally. Why? Because I feel cassava is sometimes, depending on the seed, depending on the stem, you need 6 months, some 8 months. But if I'm an investor in the diaspora and my goal on return on investment is 18 months, first I will I will set up a fish farm. I will set up a cassava farm. And then I will specialize more on processing. For example, this period that the farmers has been complaining of low sales in cassava, a company in Ghana is buying off Nigerian cassava consistently. Now, I work with an NGO called PIN, Partnership Initiative in the Niger Delta. They have a contract with MasterCard, and then the job is to train women in cassava production and then fund them. Now, they were looking for a processing company who can process cassava. If you are a processor, they will give you grants. They will give you free money. to buy from the farmers. They will give you grants to employ your extension service providers. They will give you grants to also finance the farmers, not loan grants. But we don't have any in Cross River. Surprisingly, Cross River State land is one of the fruitful land for cassava. If you go to Bassey or Bubra to preach using fertilizer for cassava, you are beating the wrong drum beat, because you won't have people that would dance towards the drum beat. Because in the community I farm, just from 7 heaps, a farmer harvested cassava that was more than a ton.
Whoa.
He harvested cassava that is 3 to 4 feet, which is almost half of my body size, without fertilizer. So what about setting up a company? So if I am an investor, I will set up a company that will buy up this cassava, process it to cassava starch. Meanwhile, to mention, I did mention that Special Agri-Processing Zone have 3 products, which is cassava, rice, and cocoa. So one of their target is to process cassava to cassava flour. There is so much money in cassava starch. Now, cassava as a product, everything about cassava is money. So I will go into fish farming, I will go into cassava, I will go into poultry, I will go into plantain, because all these are investments that can yield returns within 18 months. Now, I will also go into nursery, because the first call of action for a successful production is the seed. I won't work alone. I will get a professional consultant that will do the work. So having opportunity to have that amount of money, I will build a system around it. Why agribusiness failed is because the agribusiness person see business as an occupation. They see it as an occupation. They don't see it as a business. There is no structure. I desire to build a business agribusiness that will give me the opportunity to sit in an office like yours, full with AC, and have boardroom meeting with my directors and design the work plan, have a report system that every day people are bringing report on the field. I have my CCTV camera that sit down to monitor every activities in the farm. So I'm just crossing my leg and the money is coming. That's how to build a business. I don't necessarily need to go to farm. One of the professors in a meeting we had in Abuja says that it's only Nigeria that is doing farming. Farming is all and knife. Farming has gone beyond that. There is technology for everything, including fish farming. There is technology that can show you, that can change your water for you, that can feed your fish. So if I have such money, I will bring in technology. I will bring in experts that can turn that can in 18 months can produce that money at least 5 to 10 times, which is the least possibility. And all what this needs is identify the right team, identify the passion, and then take action. The land is fertile and is waiting for that investor. I may be speaking to you, that investor. So don't waste our time. Come up now, invest in Cross River State, and let's smile as you have your return on investment.
Thank you so much, Mr. Bassey Jacob, for coming on the podcast today. It has been very interesting. Nothing short of that. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Gloria.
And to you out there, you've heard the call to action by Mr. Bassey Jacob. Go ahead and invest in the blue economy or the green gold. Blue economy, we're talking about aquaculture, and the green gold, we're talking about oil palm and cocoa, and the rest that Mr. Bassey Jacob has told us today. So we're talking about tiger nuts. We're talking about there are different crops that you should come in and different ventures here in the agribusiness economy. Now, until we come your way again on the podcast, my name is Gloria Edet. I am the speaking nightingale. See you soon.